Hello and greetings to all my dear friends and students. Students, I hope you are fit and fine at your home. Students, eat healthy and be healthy. First of all, I would like to wish you very happy New Year 2021. As well as I would like to extend my thanks to my subscribers, those who have shared it, liked it, commented below the video. Students, let's start with a new video in the new year, that is 2021. Students, today we are going to study history subject of 6th standard. In history, we are going to study the 8th chapter, that is States after Maurya Empire. Students, in the 6th chapter, we have studied Janpadas and Mahajanpadas. After that, in the 7th chapter, we have studied India during Maurya period. And in this chapter, we have studied about the founder of Maurya period, that is Chandragupta, son of Chandragupta, Bindusara, and son of Bindusara, Ashoka. Okay, students. And all these three emperors of Maurya period were very great, that we have studied one by one in the 7th chapter, that is India during Maurya period. Okay, students. So, as well as we have studied that the period of Maurya Empire was 322 BCE to 180 BCE. Okay, student. And for your more knowledge, I would like to tell you that in this period, or in the Maurya Empire, there were total 9 emperors. The first one, that is founder of Maurya Empire, was Chandragupta Maurya, and the last emperor of the Maurya period was Brihadratha. Okay, students. Yes, the period of Chandragupta Maurya was 322 BCE to 298 BCE. Okay, student. As well as we have studied the period of Bindusara, that is 298 to 272 BCE. As well as one of the great emperor of Maurya period we have studied, that is Ashoka the Great, 268 to 232. Okay, student. So these were the some of the renowned emperor of India, that is Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, and Ashoka the Great. And just now I have told you there were 9 emperors of the Maurya period, and the last emperor of the Maurya Empire was Brihadratha. Okay, student. The period of Brihadratha was 187 to 180 BCE. Okay, students. So he ruled during the period 187 to 180 BCE. And student, one of the important things is that he was the last ruler of the Mauryan Empire. Students, during the period of Brihadratha, Pushyamitra Shunga was the general of Maurya Empire. Yes, student. Pushyamitra Shunga was the general of Maurya Empire in the period of Brihadratha. Okay, student. And Pushyamitra Shunga, the general of the Mauryan period or Mauryan Empire, revolted against Brihadratha and killed him. And after killing him, he became himself the king of Maurya period. And from here, the Shunga period started. It means that Pushyamitra Shunga established the Shunga Empire. Okay, students? The Shunga Empire was also an ancient Indian dynasty from Magadha that controlled the Central Asia and Eastern Indian subcontinent from 187 to 180 BCE. Okay, student, have you understood now? Very good. The capital of Shunga Empire was Patliputra. As we have studied, Patliputra was the capital of Magadha Empire, as well as it was the capital of Maurya Empire too. In the same way, here Shunga Empire also had the same capital, that is Patliputra. Students, have you understood now? Yes. So here we have studied in short the Shunga Empire. Okay student, now we are going to study the next point, that is 8.2 Indo-Greek Kings. Okay student, and the period of Indo-Greek king was 180 BC to 10 AD. Okay students, the Indo-Greek kingdoms also known as Greco-Indian kingdoms. Okay students, and historically these are known as Yavan Rajya or kingdoms of Yavanas. The northwest part of Indian subcontinent was ruled by the several Greek kings. These kings are known as Indo-Greek kings. Yes student, what? The northwest part of Indian subcontinent was ruled by the Greek kings, and because of that these kings are known as, or these kingdoms are known as Indo-Greek kingdoms or Indo-Greek kings. Students, do you know more than 30 kings were ruled by this northwest Indian subcontinent? And student, these kings were very important in reference to the history of coins. They had the tradition of putting the picture or the image of the king on the one side of the coin, and on the other side of the coin they put the picture or image of deity. This tradition of putting images of king and deity on the coins took rooted in India afterward. Students, do you know the famous king of Indo-Greek kingdoms? Yes, if you know, you can type your answer in the comment box. Students, Menander was the famous Indo-Greek king, and Menander was referred as Milinda, and he was the most famous king among the Indo-Greek kings. He had his capital at Shakala in Punjab. At present, it is known as Sialkot. Milinda discussed the Buddhist philosophy with the Buddhist bhikkhu, that is Nagsena. Yes student, Nagsena was Sharvasti Vadan Buddhist. Yes student, what is Sharvasti Vadan Buddhist? Yes, he belonged to Sharvasti Buddhist school, and this Sharvasti Buddhist school was established in the reign of Ashoka. So he was belonged to Sharvasti Vadan Buddhist school, and Milinda discussed the Buddhist philosophy with him, and Nagsena had given answers to the questions of Milinda, and the answers of Nagsena led to creation of a book, and the name of the book is Milinda Panna. Students, Panna is a Pali word, and Panna means here question. Okay, so here Nagsena had given answers to the questions of Milinda. So here the questions and answer led to creation of a book, a very important book, that is Milinda Panna. Okay students, so this is the short information about the Indo-Greek kings. Okay, now we are going to study the next point, that is 8.3 Kushana kings or Kushan kings. Okay students, the period of Kushana king was 30 to 375 AD. Okay students, do not forget 30 to 375 AD was the period of Kushana kings. Students, we all know that India was invaded by several tribes time to time. Yes student, invaded means what? To enter for the purpose of conquest. So here the people invaded India for the purpose of conquesting India or conquering the India. Okay students, so here India was invaded by a lot of or several tribes. Kushana was one of the tribes that invaded India from the Central Asia. Students, do you know it was a syncretic empire? Student, syncretic empire means those who have belief in various religions or having combination of different. They established their rule in the northwestern region and Kashmir in the 1st century. They established their rule in the northwestern region and in Kashmir in the 1st century. Students, a very important thing as well as interesting thing is that the Kushana kings started minting the gold and copper coins. Yes, student, minting. What do you mean by minting? Minting means coining or making. So here the Kushana kings for the first time they minted the gold coins as well as copper coins. We have seen that earlier also the kings tried to mint the coins, but here the Kushana kings minted the coins of gold and copper. They started the custom of putting the image of Lord Gautam Buddha and different deities on the coin. Student, the renowned king of Kushana kings was Kanishka, and the king Kanishka extended the Kushana Empire. Kanishka the Great, an emperor of Kushana Dynasty in the 2nd century, that is 127 to 150 CE, is famous for his military, political and spiritual achievements. Kanishka the Great extended his empire from Kabul in the west to Varanasi in the east. And students, he minted the coins of gold and copper. Some of the coins of Kanishka Empire or Kanishka King had found in North India. It is believed that the village Kanpur near Srinagar today could be Kanishkapur. Students, a well-known poet, Ashwaghosh, was lived during the period of Kanishka. He wrote Buddha Charita and Vajrasuchi. Students, the famous Vaidya Charak also was in the court of Kanishka. Students, do you know Kanishka's gold coin? Let's have some more information about it. It was minted by Emperor Kanishka. It has the words Shaho, Nano, Shaho, Kanishki, Koshano on one side. It means King of Kings, Emperor Kanishka Kushana. On the other side, there is an image of Gautam Buddha and the word Bodho, meaning Buddha, written in the Greek script. Okay, students, have you understood this much? Very good. So, here we have studied about the Kushana king and one of the great king of Kushana Empire, that is Kanishka. Students, now we shall study the point 8.4, that is the Gupta Dynasty. The Gupta Dynasty also was an ancient Indian empire existing from the mid to late 3rd century to 543 CE. Okay, students, during the period 319 to 467 CE, it was at its zenith. Okay, students, zenith means student. It was at its top or highest position. During this period, it covered much of the Indian subcontinent region. And student, one of the important thing is here that this period is considered as the golden age of India according to some of the historians. Students, do not forget, this period is called as the golden period or the golden age of India. Dynasty was founded by Sri Gupta. Yes, student, do not forget it. The founder of the Gupta dynasty was Sri Gupta. The most notable rulers of the Gupta dynasty were Chandragupta I, Samudragupta and Chandragupta II. And Chandragupta II was referred as Vikramaditya also. Okay, students, so do not forget the notable rulers of Gupta dynasty were Chandragupta I, students, mind it, it is not Chandragupta Maurya, it is Chandragupta I from Gupta Dynasty. Second, Samudragupta, and third one is Chandragupta II. And Chandragupta II was known as Vikramaditya also. Students, now we shall have some information about Samudragupta. Okay, students. So we will begin with Samudragupta. Okay, are you ready? Very good. So the period of Samudragupta was 350 to 375 CE. Okay, student. So almost 25 years he ruled the Gupta dynasty. Samudragupta was son of Chandragupta I. Okay, student. And he had extended the political power of Gupta dynasty. He had greatly extended the political power of Gupta dynasty. Samudragupta defeated the neighboring kingdoms and extended his empire from Assam to Punjab. Students, he had also conquered the eastern coastal region up to Kanchi in Tamil Nadu. His empire extended from Ravi river in the west to the Brahmaputra river in the east, and from Himalayan foothills in the north to the central India in the southwest. Students, due to these victories, his power was recognized everywhere. Some of the kings made friendship treaties with him, for example, northwestern frontiers as well as the kings of Sri Lanka. Students, one of the pillar inscriptions at Prague describes the conquest of Samudragupta. Yes, student, earlier I have told you the meaning of pillar inscriptions. Okay, it tells us about the Samudragupta's conquest as well as victories. This pillar inscription is known as Allahabad pillar inscription or Allahabad Prashasti or Prayag Prashasti. Yes, student, Prashasti means what? What do you mean by Prashasti? Prashasti means progress. So these inscriptions tells us about the progress of Samudragupta. Students, do you want to know an interesting thing about Samudragupta? Yes? Okay. So Samudragupta was an expert Veena player. Yes, he was an expert Veena player. Yes, what do you mean by Veena, students? Yes, if you know the answer, you can type your answer in the comment box. Veena is a musical instrument. Students, he also minted the coins and he engraved various images on the coin. On one of the coins, we can see that the image of Samudragupta himself, and he is playing Veena on that coin, as well as his name Samudragupta was engraved on that coin. Okay, students, have you understood now? So here we have some information about Samudragupta. Now, students, we will move forward and we will learn more about one of the notable king or emperor of Gupta dynasty, that is Chandragupta II. The period of Chandragupta II was 380 to 415 CE, and Chandragupta II was son of Samudragupta, and after Samudragupta he had ascended the throne. And just now I have told you that Chandragupta II was known as Vikramaditya. So Vikramaditya is the title given to Chandragupta II, and he was considered as one of the most powerful empire of Gupta dynasty in northern India. Chandragupta II continued the policy of expansionist of his father, that is Samudragupta. Expansionist means what, student? Extending or increasing the dynasty, increasing the kingdom, expanding the kingdom. Okay, so he had accepted the policy of expansion of dynasty. He extended the Gupta empire toward northwest region. Yes, student, Extended means what? What do you mean by extended? Made larger or enlarged. So he made larger his empire towards the northwest region. He also won Malwa, Gujarat and Saurashtra. Students, he established a good relationship with Wakatak rurals in south by giving his daughter in marriage to Rudrasen. The name of daughter was Prabhavati. Okay, student. So Prabhavati was the daughter of Chandragupta II, and he has given his daughter in marriage to Rudrasen to build good relationship with the southern king, that is Wakatak kingdom. Students, an iron pillar had found at Mehrauli in Delhi. Student, the feature of this iron pillar is that it is not rusted yet. It has not rusted even in the period of last 1500 years. Students, what do you mean by rusting or rust? Rust means when we see on iron, there is a reddish or yellow brown flaking coating on iron, that is called as rust. Okay, student. So this pillar was, or this pillar is an excellent example or specimen of metallurgical skill of ancient Indian people. What is metallurgical, student? Yes, it is a skill or science or technique to work on a metal so as to give them certain desired shapes and properties. The inscription on the pillar bears the name of King Chandra. So on the basis of this, it is assumed that this iron pillar is belonged to Chandragupta II period. Students, one more important thing is here that during his period, one of the Chinese bhikkhu or Buddha bhikkhu traveled from China to India. His name was Fa Hien. Students, do not forget, Fa Hien traveled from China to India during the period of Chandragupta II, and he has written an account of his travel during India, as well as we come to know about the efficient administration of Gupta Dynasty from his writings. Some more information about the travelogue of Fa Hien we will study. So let's have a look on this and let's try to understand what he has written about India or Gupta Dynasty in his travelogue. Okay, student? So let's learn. Students, do you know the Chinese traveler Fa Hien came to India during the reign of Chandragupta II. In his travelogue, he has described the social life during the Gupta period. He says that Indian cities are big and prosperous. There are several guest houses for travelers and also several charitable organizations. The city has hospitals where the poor get medical treatment free of charge. There are great viharas and temples. People are free to choose any occupation. They move about freely. There are no restrictions on their movement. Government officers and soldiers are paid their salaries regularly. People do not drink alcohol or commit violence. The administration of Gupta rule is conducted in a proper and efficient manner. Okay, students, so here what we have learned about the Gupta dynasty. In Gupta dynasty, we have learned about founder of Gupta dynasty was Sri Gupta, and the renowned emperor of Gupta dynasty were Chandragupta I, Samudragupta and Chandragupta II, that is Vikramaditya. Okay, now we will move forward and try to learn point 8.5, that is the Vardhan Dynasty. Yes, students. Now we shall study about the Vardhan Dynasty. Students, after the decline of Gupta power or Gupta Dynasty, many states were emerged in North India. Yes, student, after the declination of the Gupta power or Gupta Dynasty, some new powers were emerged in North India. And the Vardhan Dynasty also was one of them. The founder of Vardhan Dynasty was Prabhakar Vardhan. Okay, student. Prabhakar Vardhan was the king of Thaneshwar near Delhi. Students, one of the notable empires of Vardhan Dynasty was Harshavardhan. Okay, and Harshavardhan had expanded the Vardhan Dynasty up to the Nepali north, up to the river Narmada in the south, Assam in the east and Gujarat in the west. Students, one of the notable thing is that he had cordial relations with King Raja Bhaskar Varman of Kamrum, that is ancient Assam. He had also established the friendly relationship with the Chinese Empire, as well as he had sent an ambassador to the Chinese court. The capital of Harshavardhana's empire was Kanuj, and trade had flourished in his kingdom. He spent a large portion of his revenue for the welfare of the people, as well as after each 5 years he distributed all his wealth amongst the people. Students, in his court, one of the renowned poet was there. His name was Bana Bhatt, and Bana Bhatt wrote Harshacharita, a biography of Emperor Harshavardhana. Students, Harshavardhana became a follower of Buddhism, but he had given a patronage to all the religions. He wrote 3 Sanskrit plays, Ratnavali, Nagananda and Priyadarshiksha. Students, during his reign, one of the Chinese traveler, that is Yuan Chong, had traveled from China to India during his period. He traveled to all the parts of India. He stayed at the Nalanda University for 2 years. On returning to his homeland, he translated many Buddhist manuscripts in Chinese. Students, now we will have some more information about this Chinese traveler Yuan Chang. Okay, so let's have more information about him. Students, do you know Yuan Chang traveled all over India? He has words of praise for the people of Maharashtra. He writes, the people of Maharashtra are a proud people. They never forget a favor done to them, but they do not spare anyone who insults them. They will help another in distress without a care even for their own life. They do not harm anyone who takes refuge with them. Okay, students, have you understood now? Very good. So today what we have learned? We have learned about the Shunga Dynasty. Then we have learned Indo-Greek Kings. After Indo-Greek Kings, we have learned the Kushana Kings. Then next, the Gupta Dynasty and the Vardhan Dynasty too. In the next video, we are going to do the exercise given below this chapter. Okay, student, if you want to learn more about this, so be connect with me. If you want to connect with me, subscribe my channel and press the bell icon. Okay, students, if you have liked this video, like it, share it, comment below the video, and do not forget to subscribe and press the bell icon so that you will get current notification of new videos.